Welcome to the Raven Space on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is Raven Space Mailbag, where we answer your questions about the Baltimore Ravens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please subscribe to the Raven Space on YouTube if you're not yet subscribed. Also, a special shout out to our Patreon subscribers, because without you guys, none of this is possible. Thank you guys so much for your contribution and your support. Now we're going to hop into the first question of the day, and this question comes from Joe, and Joe asks, who is the greatest Ravens player ever on offense? Thank you so much for your question, Joe. And this is a real easy question. Ask anybody. The greatest player ever on offense for the Ravens is Jonathan Ogden. He is currently the sole Hall of Fame player for the Ravens on offense, and he may be that way for some time. Another player that may be able to rank up there, if you try hard, really hard, is Jamal Lewis. Again, I don't think Jamal Lewis will be in the Hall of Fame because of the way his career ended and the trouble and stuff that he was in. But he is definitely one of the greatest Baltimore Ravens offensive players in their history. When Jamal Lewis was at his prime, he was a running back that is basically what the NFL wants. He was big, he was strong, he was fast, he was relentless. He fought. And he was the driving force of the Ravens offense in the 2000 season when we won a Super Bowl. I believe he has the most rushing yards in the game, if I remember that correctly. And he was just an all-around great player for the Baltimore Ravens. So he'll be number 2. Number 3, in my opinion, is Marshall Yanda, but you can also go Joe Flacco, just because he's the quarterback that won a Super Bowl, that was the best player on offense in the postseason. And so you could put him up there, number 3. Quarterback means a lot, and so you give the quarterback a lot of credit. Then that's just how it is. But number 1, for sure, is Jonathan Ogden. And Marshall Yanda may even raise through the ranks by the time it's all said and done. We don't know yet, but it could happen. You just never know. Thank you so much for your question, and we're going to move on to the second question of the day, which comes from Luke. And this is a hard question, Luke. And Luke asks, who is the most talented running back on our roster? Thank you so much for the question. This is hard. I'm going to say right now, one I think is Danny Woodhead. Danny Woodhead showed in his very short time at playing for the Ravens that when he's in the game, things change in the passing perspective. Joe Flacco always has a place he can throw the ball quick and short if he's ever in trouble. But excluding Danny Woodhead, because he's not a great running back, he doesn't run the ball well as these other ones, in my opinion, I would say you have to give it right now to Buck Allen. Now, only reason I'm saying that because Alex Collins is playing better, but at least you don't. Alex Collins only has 3 games of tape. We don't know what happens when teams start scheming for Alex Collins. We just do not. Maybe, there's a reason Alex Collins was cut from the Seattle Seahawks, who have bad running backs. So, but he's playing the best right now, Alex Collins is, and I will not lie and say he's not. But for me to say he's the best, it's hard for me to say. So I would say right now, he's number 2. Because, his body of work is not enough yet just for me. Terrence West is disappointing me. He's injured now, but when he was not injured, he was not performing as well as the other running backs on the roster. So right now, he's the least talented. That's hard for me to say because I don't know if I really think that, but I can say for sure he's the least productive right now. Talent-wise, is a hard thing to say because if they go to another team, what are they going to explode? But again, Terrence West, they get cut from the Browns, so it's hard to say. But as of right now, I think it's Buck Allen because he's performing light years above where I thought he would perform, and he's outperforming Terrence West right now. But if Alex Collins stays on this track, on this road, I will change my answer to him because he is the most impressive running back of these last 3 games. Thank you so much for your question. Now we're going to move to the next question. And this question comes from Vernon. And Vernon asks, what do you think about making Matthews the 3rd string receiver, at least until Perryman gets his act together? Thank you so much for your question, Vernon. I think that it's an interesting idea, but I think it's not a good idea because the best way to get better in the NFL is to play. The best way to get better in anything is to do. You can sit on the sideline and teach and learn, but it's not like a quarterback where, you can actually get hit into being a bad quarterback, right? Your mental clock can speed up if you take sacks as a rookie, and now you're always throwing the ball a little bit too quickly, right? That can happen. That has happened to quarterbacks. That happens to quarterbacks like a Ryan Leaf, who is a talented quarterback, but he wasn't all up there in the head, which led to his demise as a quarterback in the NFL. And I'm going all the way back. That's a long way back for Ryan Leaf right there. So, So I think Perriman has to play. He has to run routes. He has to see what works against cornerbacks. Because the more he plays, the better he'll get. And if we need him to be great, because, again, Macklin's only on contract for 2 years. So this year and then next year, then his contract is up. Wallace's contract is up after this year. And so Perriman, if he's going to be the future, has to play like the future. And right now, he is not playing like the future to me, which is a sad thing, but it's a true thing. Hopefully he improves. Now we're going to go to the next question and the last question of the day. And this question comes from Ashley. And Ashley asks, can you rank our outside linebackers? Thank you so much for this question, Ashley. And I can rank the outside linebackers for you. And number one, of course, is Terrell Suggs. He's an older guy, but he's still the best pass rusher. And that's really what outside linebackers are expected to do in a 3-4 defense, is rush the passer. He's just the best pass rusher. There's nothing else I can say. He has the best moves. He has the most experience. He has the best jump off the ball. Even in his old age, there's no other linebacker on the Ravens that can affect the quarterback, or even there's not any other player on the Ravens that can affect the quarterback as much as Joe Flacco, and affecting the quarterback is the name of the game, right? And that's just the truth. Number two, I would say, is Matthew Judon. Now, Matthew Judon is not starting, but he has a high potential, higher than the person who is starting at the other outside linebacker position, who I'll name number three. But Judon has a great ability. He gets better every single game I see him in. He is becoming a much better linebacker in coverage, again, which is expected when you have your outside linebacker, Terrell Suggs. You don't want Terrell Suggs in coverage. You want Terrell Suggs rushing the passer. And sometimes you don't want to rush 5 people, right? So you rush the 3 and then Terrell Suggs. So Judon has to go back in coverage. He's getting much better at that. And I think that he's becoming a very talented player and soon will be a starter. Number 3, then there's 5. Number 3 is Zadarius Smith. Right now, this season, he is better than the other 2 that I'm going to name the rookies. He's better right now because in this year, he is the most ready. In the future, all hands off, right? I think Judon will take Zadarius' spot by the end of this season. I do not think the rookies will be able to do that. So that's why Zadarius Smith is number 3. Zadarius Smith was outperforming everyone's expectations, but he's very inconsistent, and I think that's going to affect him later down the line. Number 4 is Tyus Bowser. Tyus Bowser can do everything. He just needs to, become consistent in the pass rushing aspect and then the run stopping aspect, and he'll find his way on the field. He is the heir apparent right now to Terrell Suggs. Number 5 is just because he's a young player and he's very, very raw. Tim Williams. There's no way Tim Williams could not be number 5. Literally, there's times where he's not even on the roster, right? He's not dressing up to play, right? When the Ravens decide, okay, these 4 linebackers, we're gonna dress them up to play. Sorry, Tim Williams, we're not dressing you up to play. Stay home. Well, you gotta be number 5, right? There's nothing I can say about that. And then you have other players that come in and out, but those are the 5 I want to focus on, and that's my ranking. So thank you guys so much for asking the questions, and thank you guys so much for watching. This is the end of Mailbag. Please subscribe to the Raven Space on YouTube for the best Baltimore Ravens content on the internet. Also, please check out Raven Space shop, where you can help support us and buy cool t-shirts and stuff like that. And also, if you want to take it to the next level and be awesome, check out our Raven Space Patreon page down in the description below. Thank you guys so much. and go Ravens.